Hey, welcome to the editing bay, where Braden and I smash together the Crashing Dishes episodes. Psych, just kidding. This is actually one of the editing rooms in the college that Braden and I attend. The only reason why we were able to score this room was because Braden's in broadcasting, so otherwise it would have been filmed inside of a room full of TVs and rolling chairs. Yeah, being a business grad is very fun indeed. Anywho, I wanted to review some footage with you that was taken a while ago. For one of our shorts, I thought it would be a good idea to see how fast I can slice something in under a minute, and lo and behold, I cut a full centimeter into my thumb. Funny how that works, isn't it? It was reckless and stupid, and the first thing that you are taught in most cooking courses is how to use a knife safety, and proper technique, and it's not there to be boring. It's there to avoid serious injury with a sharp object.
The knife I primarily use is a Jamie Oliver branded German steel Santoku. I've been putting it through the ringer for the past couple years, and its cutting edge only seems to get sharper. When I sliced into my thumb, it took a moment to process what exactly had happened, until I realized I had to wiggle a knife from flesh.
Before we start, let me just say that most of these rules apply to larger knives like a chef's knife, but there are some that do apply to all knives. And these are very important, so listen. Now that we've covered that, let's get into the safety. So please take a seat and let's review. Rule number 1, hold the knife with your dominant hand, pinching the heel in front of the bolster.
The center of gravity in most knives have been placed primarily around this area. So what we do to avoid unexpected movements is we hold the knife close to or directly on the center of gravity. This gives us much more control than a handle grip and allows us to apply more pressure going through tougher foods. Watch me cut this carrot julienne with ease because I'm able to control my knife with no unexpected movements and apply the perfect amount of force to cut the carrot's tough body. Rule number 2, the less up, the less danger. With knives that are designed with a curved blade, its purpose is to use a rocking motion when cutting. In this motion, the knife is always making contact with the board. This keeps the blade below your fingers and eliminates the danger of slicing into your knuckles by giving you full control. But some knives don't have such a pronounced curve like a standard chef's knife. Take my Santoku for example. It has a very long bottom that has a subtle curve instead. This blade is best designed for a cross chop instead of a rock chop, having the blade leave the board. In these instances, to avoid accidents, keep the blade perpendicular to your curled fingers and never have it go higher than your knuckle. For smaller items like herbs, higher than 3/4 of your finger is unnecessary. Rule number 3, curve the tips. Fresh pedicures are great until you've lopped half your fingernail off. In some internet videos of street cooks around the world, they put their fingers in danger like this. Only one time it takes for them to think about something else for a split second, and all of a sudden, right off. Heed my words and be smart. Curve those tips into a safer claw grip. Now your fingers are protected by your knuckle. Rule number 4, travel light and travel safe. If you're needing another ingredient from the pantry or fridge, put your knife down in a safe position on your cutting board. Either being at home or in a professional kitchen, wielding a knife and walking around is dangerous to everyone around you. If you need to bring your knife with you for something like sanitizing, bring your knife all the way down and point it to the floor. Holding outwards is a danger to everyone standing in your way, holding it inwards is a danger to yourself, and holding it like a concealed knife is a danger to everybody. Don't mess around with crap like this. Point your knife to the ground and holler, "Behind, sharp," to let others know you're moving around with a knife. Rule number 5, you can rock, but avoid the roll. If an ingredient is round in shape and can easily get away from you while holding claw grip, then it needs a sturdy base. Instead of risking the risky risk of runaway veggie, cut a flat bottom to keep it in place. Like I keep saying, unexpected movements cause accidents, so having full control over your work is critical. Now that I do, I can continue knowing that I'm not gambling my fingers. Rule number 6, you're safer with a sharp blade than a dull one. Typically, if you're using a dull knife, you need to compensate with more force to wedge that blade into whatever's fibers. If something goes wrong, that force is propelled into whatever the cutting edge hits next. A knife's a knife, so even if it couldn't cut through the ingredient, you're still made of fleshy human. All that power brought onto one surface, concentrated into one line of steel. With a sharp knife, we no longer need that amount of force. The blade does most of the cutting work and glides easily through whatever matter. A sharper blade will always be safer than a dull one.